The British Army, one of the world's most respected military forces. They have been at the forefront of global operations for over a century, deploying troops to the battlefields of mainland Europe and North Africa during World War I and II, to more modern day conflicts such as Falkland Islands, Kosovo, Iraq and Afghanistan. In order to join this organisation, potential soldiers need to meet strict physical standards, but the Army has recently updated its entry-level fitness test, and I'll be asking the big question: is the current British Army fitness test too easy? Well, today I'm putting that to the test. I'm attempting the official entry-level fitness test, and not just to pass it, but to hit the highest possible score. Here's what's involved. First, the mid-thigh pull. A minimum of 50 kilo for 2 reps, holding at the top for at least 5 seconds. Then a 4 kilogram medicine ball throw. You need to hit at least 3.1 meters. And finally, a 2k run, where the top score is 8 minutes and 25 seconds. But here's the thing. Once I've completed the official test, I'm not stopping there. I'm going to push beyond the Army's standards, creating a tougher and more intense version of the test, to see if the current bar is actually set too low. So let's find out. First up, the mid-thigh pull. Now, this is meant to test raw strength, but I can't lie, the minimum standard of 50 kilo for 2 reps with a 5-second hold is extremely easy.
Inside my own world of make-believe, kids scream.
So instead of just sticking to baseline, I wanted to push it further. For my extra challenge, I'm doubling the weight to 100 kilo and going for 10 reps, just to show how achievable this actually is.
That's alright, hush.
Even with the heavier weight, that 5-second hold is where it started to bite. But overall, I can't lie, this felt very manageable, which really got me thinking, is this standard set way too low? Next up, the medicine ball throw. This one's meant to test explosive power, but again, I can't help thinking, a 4 kilogram ball? That feels too light, and I'm not entirely convinced this really measures upper body strength in any meaningful way. The benchmark is just 3.1 meters, which realistically isn't far at all. I marked out the distance just to put that 3.1 meters into perspective and sent it. Just like before, I wanted to take it a step further. I'm upping the weight to a 9 kilogram ball just to see how much harder this movement actually becomes. Honestly, even with the heavier weight, it still felt very manageable. Clearing the minimum distance didn't feel like a challenge at all. At this point, I'm starting to think these standards are very achievable for the average person, but I'm not jumping to conclusions just yet. We've still got the run to come. Now, for the real test, the 2k run. This is where things should get challenging. I started with an 800 meter warm-up, just as the actual test is. Nothing too intense, just enough to prepare for what's coming. Because for the official test, the top score comes in at 8 minutes 25 seconds, with the minimum standard sitting at 11 minutes. Once I was ready, I went for it. Early on, the pace felt comfortable and easily manageable, but as the laps went on, I could definitely feel fatigue setting in. This is where it becomes more of a mental test, holding that pace and not backing off. Coming into the final stretch, it was all about emptying the tank, and bosh, did it. Honestly, that felt tough, but very achievable. So for the final part of this challenge, I wanted to take it a step further once again. I put on a 10 kilo weighted vest and ran the 2k again. Same distance, same track, but this time a completely different feeling. Straight away, I noticed the extra load, and this is where it started to feel like a real test. Pushing through the middle laps was tough, but again, still doable. And that's the point. Even adding significant weight, it still feels within reach, which really brings the question back. Are the current standards set too low? After testing every part of the Army entry fitness test, here's my honest opinion. Individually, none of the elements felt particularly demanding, even when I pushed beyond the standards, doubling the weight and adding a weighted run. It still felt within reach. Now, I'm not saying it should be impossible, but for something that's meant to set the baseline for soldiers, I do think the bar could be higher, because fitness isn't about just passing, it's about being prepared, and right now, I'm not convinced that test fully reflects that. My closing question is to you: has this new change been for the better, or has it compromised the fitness standards and safety for its soldiers?